Good morning. We will start with the new lesson. So that will be Age of Guptas. A very big lesson, a very interesting lesson. But since this year the syllabus has been reduced, we are not going in detail about the lesson. First, we will talk about the first topic, sources, where there are many sources, but we are talking only about the two sources, account of Hayyan and Allahabad pillar inscription. Then we are not going with any lifestyle of a king and the rule of a king. Directly, we are going to the contributions of Age of Guptas. So, when we see the contribution of Age of Guptas, so they have contributed in the field of education, science, literature, and architecture. All this we are having it. But in that, we are seeing only a field of education we will be discussing, then field of science we will be discussing, then a field of literature we will be discussing, and architecture, so we are discussing for concept in that one individual concept, so we are going to discuss. So before I go into the very important topic of the lesson, so that will be contributions of Gupta Empire, because their contribution is very remarkable. And Gupta Empire is also known as Golden Age. We call it as a Golden Age because the contribution is, even today, the contribution of Guptas are remembered. Okay. So before going into the important topic of the lesson, so that will be, Gupta's contributions. Let us have some a few introduction regarding that. Then two sources about that. Then here I have given a rough map of Gupta Empire. So the green, the outline, so that is the Gupta Empire, and Pataliputra. So that was the very most important city of, Gupta Empire. So that's been represented there. So when we see in the introduction part, so it has been said that Gupta Empire was established in 320th century. Okay, and Mauryan Empire, what we are having it, already we studied in the previous class, Mauryan Empire. So in the region of Magadha, the Mauryan Empire was established. So in the same place, even the Gupta Empire also was established after the decline of Mauryans. Okay, that is the reason we also call Gupta age, or the age of Gupta, as the second Magadha, we call it. Okay, the second Magadha, which was established in 320th century. Okay, 320th century, the Gupta age of Guptas was established. And second point, if you see, the Chandragupta first regarded as a real founder of Gupta Empire. Okay, Chandragupta first. So he is the real founder of the Gupta Empire. Okay, and we say about the Chandragupta first. Just when we talk about Chandragupta first, so he laid the foundation of, second Magadha. Then after that, Chandragupta first, he ruled only the Magadha and in the east part, so that is Uttar Pradesh. So Uttar Pradesh and Magadha region. So those are the two places which was under the control of him at the time of his foundation and at the time of his rule. So after him, the kingship was passed to his son, one of the most important king of the Gupta. So that is Samudragupta, one of the most important personality and one of the most important king. Okay, so he was the son of Chandragupta first. So during his rule only, almost these places were all conquered. Now, for example, Ganga, Yamuna, Doab region he conquered. Then eastern Himalayas he conquered. Then frontier states like Nepal, Assam, Bengal. Okay, so and Vidya regions. Then even in south, the 12 rulers of south he had kept under his control. Then Shakas and Kushans, so they also had kept under his control. Okay, so all these things, and for his contribution and for his rule, and at the time of Samudragupta only, such a great extent of Gupta Empire we had. Okay, so because of his achievement and because of his conquering, we call him as the Napoleon of India. Okay, Samudragupta is referred as a Napoleon of India. That is the title given for his conquer, for his achievements. Then after him, his son Chandragupta II, it was passed, who is famously known as Vikramaditya. So Chandragupta second is known as the Vikramaditya. So he had also control over his father's whatever the places were conquered or whatever the thing is being done. But he is a very much interesting character. I mean Vikramaditya or Chandragupta second. So like he had introduced this marriage alliance system like Akbar. So marriage alliance system he had introduced to conquer the places. Then also he is the person who encouraged trade and commerce at the time of I mean Gupta Empire. Okay, so he is the person who encouraged trade and commerce. Then he was a great patron of learning. I mean literature. So during his time only the Navaratnas were kept. So in that Kalidas is one of the famous personality. So who was there? Nine jewels or nine Navaratnas were here kept it. Then after Chandragupta II, so many kings passed it, and the last personality was Narendra Gupta, the last ruler of Gupta Empire. And when his rule was going on, so during that time, the Huns invaders were captured the place, and that's how the age of Guptas comes to a decline. So that's about the kings and the concepts or personalities, so which we are having it. So next we are having the sources. Okay, next we are having the sources. The sources, if you see, the first and foremost source, that is account of Fa Hian, is the first and foremost source we are having. So Fa Hian is basically is a Chinese Buddhist traveler. He is a Chinese Buddhist traveler who visited India in 5th century. Okay, the 5th century was his visit to our country. So when we see his visit, the Fa Hian when he visited, so he has visited many places. I mean, when he came to India, Fa Hian, so he has visited many places. The places like Mathura and Kanuj, then Kapilavastu, Kushinagar, and Vaishali, Pataliput, Kashi, okay, and some more places, okay, he has visited. So in that, at the time of Chandragupta II, that is Vikramaditya, Chandragupta II, when his regime was going on, when his rule was going on, the Fa Hian visited the court of the Gupta. So when he visited the court of Gupta, so he has given us very detailed accounts. The lifestyle of Gupta Empire, very detailedly he has given. Because what he has seen it, so he has exposed it to us. Okay, how the Gupta Empire was, what kind of lifestyle the people had. All these detailed accounts he has given it. But in that, few important things we are going to talk. So according to Fa Hian, Gupta Empire was a very prosperous empire. So that is the reason it's called as Golden Age. Okay, Golden Age. And at the same time, the people were generally happy. Okay, the people led a very happy life at the time of Gupta Empire. And second thing is Pataliputra was a wealthy city. So we can also say maybe it might be a capital. Okay, or it might be one of the place where the kings might have settled. Okay, in Pataliputra. So Pataliputra was the wealthy city of Gupta. Then he says that when Gupta Empire, existed, or Gupta Empire when it started, the people followed the Buddhism religion, even the Jainism religion, Vaishnism, and Shaivism. So these were the main religions which they followed. Okay. Then very important is he gave an account of, that is Chandalas. Chandalas is nothing but the low caste people of the society. So at the time of Gupta Empire, at the time of Gupta age, he has given one group of people's detailed account. So that was Chandalas. How the lifestyle of the low caste people was there at the time of Gupta Empire. So according to Fa Hian, or according to his view, the Chandalas, that is who are called as the low caste people of the society. So when they were entering, city or the marketplace, when this group of people, when they enter the city or the marketplaces, so during that time or during that situation, the people used to give a warning strike by using the piece of wooden. Okay, the piece of wooden when they enter the city or the market, they used to give just a strike. So when that strike is given through the wooden, the other caste people becomes then alert. Okay, so they get an alert signal. What is that alert signal? They get it that the arrival of these people. Alert signal. Okay, so arrival, and second signal they get it is to avoid that. These two, signal they get it when the wooden strike is given by the people when the Chandalas or the low caste people when they enter. Okay, this Fahian has given. Okay, that shows that, or Fahian's account gives that the practice of untouchability, how it was. Okay, the practice of untouchability, how it was. So that he has given a very description text he has given to us. That is the one contribution, one Fahian's accounts which we are having. So very important. And next, if you see Allahabad inscription. Okay, so inscription which was done by Samudragupta, and it gives detailed accounts completely about this, the emperor. So according to Allahabad inscription, the 12 states of Dakshinapanta, okay, that was ruled by Samudragupta. Then the chief of the 5 border states like Nepal, Assam, Bengal, so all that things, and the 9 republicans. Okay, that's the places where he had kept it. Then next thing, if you see Garuda seal, the official emblem of Guptas. Okay, Garuda seal was the official emblem of the Guptas, so which completely gives us a very the detailed official emblem. So which shows that the emblem represented, that is enjoyment of their own territories. Okay, maybe they might have fixed in the Pataliputra the emblem, so which showed that the enjoyment, the territories like this. These are the places they are ruled. So that's the completely the emblem indicated. Then it also tells about us, that is foreign rulers and the rulers of islands. Okay, the foreign rulers and the rulers of islands. So who visited the court of the Gupta Empire? Okay, who visited the court of Gupta Empire? Who placed the Gupta Empire? So it's like that. The Fahian is the one of the person, and Hansathang. So they are the 2 persons. So visited the court of, the court of the Gupta Empire. We are having it. Okay, these are the 2 sources. So which we are having it about the Gupta Empire. We are going to discuss. So next, so when we see, next class, so we are going with the few more concepts, so that will be straight away we are going to the contributions of the Gupta Empire. Okay, contributions of Gupta Empire. So before I go with the contributions of Gupta Empire, so just you can see it here. So this is the outline sketch or outline map of the Gupta Empire. So such Gupta empire, so one fine day it gets declined, because I once again declined topic is not there, but just since I started here, so I am going to end the concept, Gupta Empire's decline. The first and foremost reason the Gupta Empire's decline is, that is Huns invaders, that is the white people from China. So they had come and they had invaded. So that made, at the time of Narendra Gupta, to the Gupta Empire to come to a decline. That is the one aspect, so which we are having it. One reason. The second reason is establishment of various small kingdoms. So after this Chandragupta first, Samudragupta and Chandragupta second, this all slowly it started to get split into small kingdoms. Okay, small kingdoms. By seeing the weakness of the kings, the small kingdoms started to take up. And in that one such kingdom we have, that is the ruler who is called as an Harshavardhana. Okay, one of the famous ruler who ruled Taneshwar. Okay, one of the place. And these 3 reasons: the rule of King Harshavardhana, and the various division of the small kingdoms, and majorly the invade of the white Huns, that is the people from China, so who entered this particular Gupta Empire, so made the decline of Gupta Empire, which we are having it. Okay, these are the 3 reasons, so which made the Gupta Empire to be get declined. Okay, so that's about the introduction and the sources and the decline of the Gupta Empire, so which we are having it. So next class I will take up, or I will go with the major concepts or major important topic of the lesson. So that will be contributions of the Gupta Empire. Thank you.